I'm like, that's your vagina, babe. Like that's yours. Do you know what else you can do besides menstruate and push babies out? You are gonna be blown.
My guys, gals, sluts, and thems, welcome to another episode of What Is This Hot Mess? A podcast that kicks it with fire feminists from across the globe to have conversations about the fact that the world is hot trash right now. As usual, I am your favorite femdom, Tiffany Kaguremogo, and we are here kicking off episode 2 of this particularly delightful cluster where we chat to Dr. T about sex. You know you love it. In episode 1, we went full serious, breaking down the politics of health, the role of power and violence in the medical system, and the world at large, whilst also chatting about Dr. T's time as a very special rapporteur to the UN fighting for the right to health. But this honey has range. And now, just like your favorite sex toy, we are deep inside, navigating the world of sexual pleasure, with a medical twist, of course. Dr. T, in some circles, is known as Dr. Tlof Tlof. The fact that this is a South African euphemism for sex tells you everything you need to know. She has done talks, written articles, pontificated, and also given us the bestseller, Dr. T, A Guide to Sexual Health and Pleasure. And the lore is just so sweet. It's just so great. One of my favorite stories about her is how she made someone orgasm on national radio by coaching them through pleasure and their own body. National radio, my people, write that down. So the magic, it basically writes itself. Truly. Now we move away from Dr. T, the UN special expert, to Dr. Tlof Tlof, the sensei of sexual pleasure. I had to kick off by asking, why are you like this? Always causing trouble and tipping tables.
You know, I think I would have been that person regardless. Mm-hmm. Because that's who I truly am. So whether I was going to be an accountant, I was going to be, a lawyer, wherever I was going to end up, we were always going to end up as the rebels, the naughty corner, the flippers of tables, and flippers of other things too.
Hello, baby.
You want to know?
Hello, baby.
But that's the truth, is that this is who I am, and who I am comes through regardless. And I think perhaps that's what makes this looks like it's so easy for me to do, because I honestly don't have to put up any persona, anything. I'm just who I am. And I think the world, just accepts that. And it just, makes things the way that they are for me.
One thing you know about Dr. T is that even before the fancy UN role, there was always someone coming for her wig and trying to snatch her edges, because she pisses people off by saying the quiet part out loud, which has always been her superpower, allowing for the things that are hidden and buried to be brought to the light, having the conversations that people are afraid to have. Because the world be coming for you sideways. Every time I meet you, look, I just have to flex that there was once a time we met in New York, and you were telling me how we did meet in New York, right? And
these African girls, we just happened to
So we were having dinner and
yeah, because every part of this world is ours. But yes, I digress.
Yes. So you've always had to push back. So what has it been like, being a doctor? In terms of flipping tables, being a doctor, what has that looked like for you?
So it looks like liberation, right? It looks like allowing myself, right, through being a doctor, not just to listen to patients' problems and all of that, but also really internalize what women were saying to me.
Okay.
And then I realized that the way that people trust me as a confidant, the way that women will often ask what they think are silly, useless, stupid questions, were really life-changing aha moments for them, right? In the way that I approached them, in the way that I was listening. And I think being non-judgmental also is a big, big skill that we take for granted, because it's also just being non-judgmental because it's my job. I have to listen to you and be like, oh, I don't judge you, but when your doctor is judging you.
You do.
Okay, I had to break up with my gynae, by the way, because I knew she was judging me. So I I am the doctor to my patients that I would be to myself.
Okay.
And that's why it's important, because I know a lot of the reasons why people are sick, why people can't have the best sex life of their choosing, why people are unable to truly fully stand in themselves and be who they are. It's because of the threat of violence, the threat of pushback, the threat of, being punished for being who you are. If you're a young woman and you want to know about, contraception. Oh, are you having sex already? Like promiscuity is already projected on you. If you're a married woman and you're asking about contraception, why? When your husband paid lobola, right? So even your idea of not just even womanhood, but just being safe and having healthy sex is tied to someone else and what power he has over you, right? So it was important then for me to sit a little bit and be like, what does this mean to be interrogating power at an individual patient level? But that power plays somewhere else. And that's where I want to go.
That's where you want to go.
That's where I want to go.
Pleasure is power, people. In a world that says who is allowed pleasure and who isn't, who is shamed for it and who isn't, the politics of pleasure becomes super obvious. People are out here having some wild ideas about the sexuals and what feels good. Podcast bros are online saying how if a woman orgasms, then the sex went badly. DJ Khaled has gone on record saying he doesn't go down on his wife. It's rough out here. And more so when you find out that the word vagina originates from the Latin word vagina. I think I've said that right. I tried to Google. I tried my best, guys. Which literally means sheath, scabbard, or cover for a sword or knife. Then you start having people talking silly about how the dick is the main character in sex. So pleasure is political, and Dr. T made it her life's mission for all of us to understand this.
Pleasure is the single most important human experience.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Pleasure is the single most important human experience. We express pleasure in very different ways. We consume pleasure in very different ways, but many ways, right? Mm-hmm. And we seek pleasure in many different ways. And I think if it were not for the greed of the human heart, a lot of what we are trying to achieve as humans is actually driven by seeking pleasure.
And this is a cognitive framework that she had for a long time. From the beginning of her medical career, when she was just a starry-eyed young doctor, and I think it was KZN. Now, if you listen to the first episode, which you should, and if you haven't, go back. But if you listen to the first episode, you are probably wanting to know the tea on how she went from Dr. T, the serious rapporteur, to also being Dr. Tlof Tlof. Here is her villain origin story.
So I did internship in Johannesburg, Charlotte Mateke Hospital. And I was like, I've worked so hard as an intern, one of the biggest hospitals in Joburg. I need a break. I'm going to go do my community service in clinics and just see how the primary healthcare system works. I had done the most brilliant work and learned from such amazing people at that big hospital, but it was also just so big. And I went to the clinics in the West Rand in Joburg, and every day was a different clinic. So I was driving easily, sometimes 120 kilometers from my house in Joburg to a clinic in the West Rand where I needed to go in the mines, and then 120 kilometers back, and that's just a Tuesday clinic. The Wednesday clinic is off somewhere else in, almost in Northwest. Then the other side, you were all the way out, So it was a very fascinating time. But that's when I got conversations with people. Real conversations, because you're in a clinic, right? And of course I was annoying because I was not as rushed. So the queues were getting a bit long and the nurses were like, hey, doctor, hurry up, man. And I'm like, hey, leave me and my patients there. I'll be fine. I'll dispense my own medicine when we are done. Go have your tea, And in fact, that's when the real stories would come out, because not just the two of us. Mm-hmm. And then the people would be like, I have a headache. I'm like, well, now why you always have a headache on a Tuesday when it's my turn to come to the clinic? Why the headache yako? It's so well timed, No. And then they come up with the story. I think I can tell you because, you look like maybe you would listen. You're like, what's wrong? No, I've been coming here telling them the blood pressure medication they give me, is affecting me. I'm like, it's affecting. They would speak in riddles and so 20 minutes later, it comes out. All the man is saying Since I had the stroke, they found out I have hypertension. They've put me on antihypertensive medication. Now my erection is weaker. He ain't lying. But everybody's just like, hi, man, you must be grateful that stroke didn't kill you. Hi, you must be grateful. Yeah, but beloveds, he's alive now.
He's alive.
Yeah, and he's so grateful. He wants to enjoy this life. Can we help? Send help, somebody, And so that's how I started to get into sexual pleasure specifically. Mm-hmm. I realized so many people, and all ages, by the way, and all marital status, all relationship statuses, everyone, when I say everyone, I mean everyone is seeking pleasurable experiences with whatever body they have. And it was for us as a health system to support them in that. For some people, it was having conversation around consent. Like, you are not enjoying sex because sex is being expected from you. And because it's expected from you, your husband is not even considering whether or not you even feel like having sex. You are doing it as something that's an obligation, that you must do it. And there's the fear of, if I don't do it, he'll leave me, or he'll cheat, or he'll have a second wife or a baby out there. And then I must understand because I'm the one who doesn't want to have sex, Mm-hmm. So there's like all of that. So there was a lot of just like saying to people, this is your body. Like, huh? And the absolute, like, I mean, people would cry because I'm just affirming that this is their body. I'm like, that's your vagina, babe. Like, that's yours. Do you know what else they can do besides menstruate and push babies out? You are going to be blown. And I spent my entire year drawing vulvas and explaining how things work and talking about lubricants. And I remember the one clinic, I used to drive from my clinic to the other clinic to go steal the lubricant from the RHI clinics because they're the ones with the rich people's money. And I would steal the lubricants and stock them in my clinic anyway. Yeah. And then they knew okay, she's going to come on Tuesdays and demand condoms and all sorts of things. And then it became like a running joke. Oh, here she comes. And then the patients who were younger, anyone who had any sexual health issue, mm-hmm. Then they became, Dr. Tlaleng's patients. That's how that started. Dr. Tlaleng's patients. So anyone who had questions about an abortion, they were like, Dr. Tlaleng. So then I would walk in and there's a pile waiting for me called Dr. Tlaleng.
Okay.
And so those were the patients. And it was so funny for me because the young ones would then come with me to the car to have conversations about the literal sex, the sexuals, the romanticals, mm-hmm. the all ofs. And I was young then. I was like 25. I was young myself. I was like, life is happening. And we were able to have conversations and references around pop culture, the songs and those. So I genuinely do think they do feel that they could see themselves through me as well, so that they could ask those things. To the license, how do I get a license? I'm like, Batum, life orientation, but I loved those moments in the car park. I loved it because, they made me realize how many more people need an older sister. That's actually what that was. People just want to be seen. They want to know that they are loved regardless. And for me, it was like, you don't have to fake being sick with a headache. If you want to come and chat about something that you saw that didn't sit right with you, or you are just crying and you don't know why, come and talk. Like, we don't even have mental health practitioners. Who's debriefing our patients when they see, a scene on, one of the television series that then they realize for the first time, oh my gosh, I've been a victim of sexual assault myself. I've had a lot of patients, only realize when we talk about what consent is, that they've never had consensual sex and they're like 55.
People clearly want and need the knowledge. And sometimes you have to give the people what they want. So Dr. T did it in the form of TV appearances, radio talk shows, podcasts, workshops, and of course, her magnum opus, the best-selling book, Dr. T, A Guide to Sexual Health and Pleasure. I know I keep repeating the name of the book. It's just in case you missed it, because you gotta go find it. So anyway, this book covers sexual health, pleasure, and rights. It has chapters on menstrual health, sex and fibroids, sex and menopause, bereavement, communicating during sex, orgasms, and much, much more. This book also has been reprinted over 14 times. People clearly want to know the things, but despite the fact that most people are actually doing the delicious dance of lust and love, very few people get decent sex education.
That's why I wrote the book. I'm like, everyone needs to read the book, because I had women who were in their 70s and young ones who were 14 were asking me exactly the same questions. So the time elapsing meant nothing without credible, comprehensive information. You can't have a 70-year-old and a 16-year-old asking you exactly the same thing.
Everyone with the same problems.
Vulva. And I'm writing and drawing the same, saying, this is your uterus, this is where your urethra, the urine comes out, this is your vaginal opening. Because just to even look at your own vulva is forbidden. You know how many people burst into tears when I give them a mirror to say, look, have you seen it? Look at it. Just that process of just looking, but being affirmed that whatever it is, however, this is mine. This is mine. First and foremost.
It is mine.
It's mine. So liberation for me feels like that. That's why I do this work. The ability of people to just sit in that and like claim themselves. You know, this land is the biggest acre, the most expensive acre of land, these bodies of ours. And they're claimed by everything and everyone. Even before we are born, they already celebrate whether it's a girl or a boy and whether or not, yeah. So even before you are born, before you're even made, they tell you, oh, it's a girl. Go try again for a boy. You haven't even learned how to suckle from your mother. You haven't even learned how to breastfeed. You are a baby. You've just been born and she's already been told, don't worry, it's a girl. Try for a boy next week. You have not even had your first meal as a newborn girl child.
Already dismissed.
That same mother who has been told she's a, do you swear on your show? HOE, for being pregnant. Today, because she gave birth to a girl, they are saying, next week, go for it, girl. Try for a boy. But last week she was told she's a hoe. But today, because he didn't do right by the universe, go try for a boy. And so, the politics of sex. Who's allowed to have sex? Who's not allowed to have sex? Who's allowed to have good sex? Who's allowed to have just mediocre sex and be fine? I'm like toe curling, explosive. Like, listen, those are the ones we want. If they are of your choice, go for it. But within the context of consent, I talk about that because there's no sexual pleasure without consent.
So, because this podcast is a safe space, I am going to tell you how I am here for that toe-curling, explosive sex vibe. Having recently gone through a big life change in terms of being partnered. Look, saying breakup sounds so harsh. Like, it sounds so harsh. Not very transformative, not very soft girl era. Anyway, having gone through this sort of like big life change, I am now in that what that mouth do era, right? And the thing is, the journey with your body is that. It's a journey. I know after my brain surgery, I hit a hard reset. I often described it like feeling like a virgin in the body, but like a sex-positive practitioner in the mind, which was the most confusing shit ever. Anyway, fast forward to now, and I'm here like, okay, bar a few non-monogamy side quests, I was with the same person for 15 years, and now I'm back in the streets. So what does sex look like for me? What does pleasure look like? Let me figure it out. And I can tell you, kitty boos, it has been a journey. Like my bedside table is looking like, I don't know, a sex toy shop right now. But you know what? A luta continua. And despite the 13 years of being a sex-positive practitioner, who is funny enough to get you out of your panties, sometimes even I have moments where I'm like, oof, this is a lot to conceptualize and to contend with. It can be tricky, right? Sometimes, because finding the right tools and information to walk this path can be hard and it can be difficult because there is a lot of wild and harmful stuff out there. All sorts of myths and misconceptions baked into problematic ideas around pleasure and gender and societal roles and religion and culture and just all sorts of just like wildness. So when you are out there looking for a snack, be patient with yourselves, but also stay woke, okay? Stay woke, homie, and stay focused. Not all things are fit for consumption. Because much as it's all fun and games, it's also kind of serious. Find the right information so you do not get led astray.
In the context of sexually transmitted illnesses, we have to talk about safer sex. We have to talk about lubricants. Some of us are perimenopausal. We're very young, but I think life has dealt with us. We are so perimenopausal in our 40s. It's not even funny. And no one ever things to tell us about lubricants, because how could you have menopause at 40 or 45 or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So all of those things were important. That they are done in a language also that's inviting. We all need an older. That is not a lecture. We all need credible medical information, but we also just need to be emancipated. We need to be just released from the shackles that are not even ours. They're not even ours. But let them go. Don't internalize those things. Let them go and redefine yourself in a different way. But truly, pleasure, period. But specifically sexual pleasure, it's a human right. It's a human right.
Mm-hmm. A framework that informs Dr. T's work is the difference between the risk-based approach versus the pleasure-based approach when it comes to sex education. The risk-based approach is kind of intense. It's all STIs and risks of unwanted pregnancy, and it's steeped in a lot of stigma and shame. Now, the pleasure-based approach focuses on pleasure and well-being and how sex is about living your holistically best life, while also taking into account the risks associated with sexual activity. It focuses on stuff like the fact that pleasure is a core part of practicing safe sex and that the two are not mutually exclusive, but in fact, intricately linked. This approach promotes conversations, thoughts, and discussions that bring together sexual pleasure, sexual rights, and sexual health, e.g. looking at consent, privacy, safety, diversity, self-confidence, communication, etc. It also makes sexual pleasure a part of collective conversations around sexual health and sexual rights. So just a quick note, because we try and cite our sources up on this thing, this wisdom came from the Global Advisory Board for Sexual Health and Sexual Wellbeing.
I defend the ability of humans to have part of that human experience outside of violence in a safer way, in a way that pleasure can be amplified by toys and lubes and how your person smells or looks or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Or persons, depending on how big the party is.
Some of us are trying to be in our whole era, please. And there you have it. My cluster of podcasts with homie and hero Dr. Tlof, wrapped up like a phallus before penetration. The ins and outs of sex and pleasure can seem like a lot to navigate, but truly exploring your pleasure with a healthy dose of bodily autonomy and understanding the politics of feeling good helps ease things along. As usual, check out the show notes for all sorts of links and things that are helpful because, we're here for a smart time, not just a good time. Shout out to the Global Unit for Feminism and Gender Democracy of the Heinrich-Böll Foundation that is hosting this podcast. And also, my team, the people who be doing the things, Rachel Amoto and Sheldon Mute for just that mixing and mastering, replying my emails, accepting my WhatsApps. I love y'all. And of course, thank you also to Cam. Why are you like this, Smith? For being a megamind and giving me, again, some good thoughts, some good feelings, and some good things to say on this, so I'm not just waxing nonsense. Till the next episode, do your Kegels, regardless of genitalia. Post that sexy pic to your close friends because they too deserve nice things. And look at your vulva using one of those fancy influencer lights because it deserves the drama. Because it's all chaos anyway. And you know what? This is not the apocalypse we signed up for.